Now, while that is the structure of how the Congress will move forward, there's also a purpose and intention that we have, and it's threefold. First, conversion. Conversion is a meeting of Christ, a moment in your heart that is softened. Maybe some of you have already experienced moments of conversion already, much like the Samaritan woman at the well when she meets the Messiah. She leaves her water jug and she runs and tells everyone, "Come and see this man who has told me everything that I have done." That's a moment of conversion. Second, transformation. A moment when we encounter Christ so much that our behaviors are called to change. Much like Zacchaeus, the tax collector, who meets Jesus and after spending time with him says, "Half of my possessions I'll give back to the poor. Anyone that I've taken advantage of, I'll pay him back 4 times over." A transformation in one of us would cause those around us to say, "What happened to them?" The third intention of this Congress is to witness. Much like in the book of Isaiah, when he's caught up in a vision before God, and God says, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" It is my prayer that at some point in each of our lives, we're all in different places on our journey, but that each of us will someday, in some moment, be able to respond like Isaiah and say, "Here I am, send me. I will go," and share the gospel message. I have a point of conversion that I want to share with you from my own life. About 7 years ago, we gave birth to our 4th child, and when she was 6 months old, we found out that she had a brain malformation. 6 months from that point, we would undergo countless admissions, brain surgeries, medical teams, conferences, medications. We learned a whole new language. 6 months after that, we would take her home on palliative care and eventually hospice. And she would die peacefully in my husband and I's arms early one Friday morning in November. With it being November, I needed to mentally get through the holidays, so I had planned for a silent retreat for 4 days in January of the following year. When I went to that retreat, it was my intention to process everything that had happened in her life and in mine. I knew it was going to take 4 days. So I took the first opportunity for adoration. I brought my notebook, I sat before the Lord, and I began. That was hard. And before I could say the word hard, he interrupted me. Like a tidal wave washing over me, I was filled with warmth and love. Maybe some of you have even felt that before as well. I was given an immense sense of peace. And although God didn't talk like he was in the room, his words were imprinted on my heart. I know. I was there. And all of my processing was healed. All of it was over because I knew that the one who had created the universe knew what hard was, had seen every tear, had seen every struggle. Now I was excited, but this was a silent retreat. I also didn't know that signing up for it. And so harnessing my St. Francis, I went out into the woods and I told every tree and every bush and all the river that the Lord knows my pain and he has taken it from me and healed me. There is much that can happen when we sit before the Lord. As we continue this journey of moments of conversion, I hope that you've been experiencing those, moments of transformation. Maybe you're so excited to get back to your daily life, or maybe not, I don't know. And try out those new behaviors. I want to change this. God is calling me to give up this, to take on this. I can't wait to encounter God in a new way in my new daily prayer routine that I'm going to be committed to. And maybe you've had a chance, whether in small groups and conversations, in intercessory prayer, to witness. Maybe you have already been a witness and fostered an encounter or a transformation in somebody else. That is how God works. He works through others. I was called to witness. 3 years ago, I could feel it. I remember having a conversation with a friend saying, he's calling me to my next mission. I've already said yes, but I have no idea what it is. And that, my friends, is living on the very, very, very edge. Shortly after, I found out that I was pregnant with my 6th child. I also found out that I was pregnant with an unknown diagnosis. They had no idea what to call it, so they referred to it as a twin molar pregnancy. I had a healthy baby boy, my son Aaron Joseph, who was named for priests and fathers. And I had a complete molar pregnancy that, if it was not immediately aborted, would take my life. And so I was presented in a healthcare situation that was impossible, frankly. And I knew in that moment that this was my witness. My witness was to these healthcare professionals who didn't maybe know God like I knew God. And I remember at various times telling them to just be still. God will show. And they would say to me, but what about this? But what about this? And I would say, I don't think we need to talk about that. I think God will just take care of that. It would be remiss if I did not mention that the Lord in that time sent me Therese of Lisieux with her feast day tomorrow, and I know our shared love of her. She comforted me and consoled me. She gave me fortitude. She prevented me from becoming disappointed, from discouragement, when every day these doctors would come in and say, you are going to die. Today would be a great day to send you home to your other kids if we just aborted. He can feel no pain. Day after day after day for weeks, I endured in the friendship of heaven during COVID, when it was very isolated and alone. By the end, by the grace of God, my life was spared. The doctors were so elated. And by the grace of God, our son is with him and lived out in full his mission that he was called to as well, because we were able to take it day by day by day until the Lord called for his time, not theirs. One by one, as I was being discharged, healthcare professionals would come into my room and share their conversion stories of what this admission meant to them. There wasn't even paperwork at the hospital to acknowledge my son as a person. They apologized over and over and over, recognizing the gift that he was, the gift that he is, because they will never forget him. Sometimes witnesses are big. Sometimes witnesses are small. But I guarantee you, if you are under Our Lady's mantle and if you are in the Lord, they will be powerful. They will be impactful. So don't worry about how big or how small the witness is. I think Therese shows us just that. Just have confidence, if you are called to witness, that God is going to bring about a powerful moment.